to wait for the next ferry to come in.
I don't know if it's going to do much good, Anna. The last captain didn't recognize Terry from her picture.
We have to give it a try. In the meantime, we'll check with the local police again.
Good idea. Maybe the police will come up with something.
No, I don't understand why Patrick hasn't contacted anyone in Port Charles.
Maybe he's trying to help Terry on his own.
Or maybe Kevin's convinced him that Terry is the killer. That's what I'm worried about. If we don't get a lead on them soon, we're going to have to go back to L.A. and show their pictures at all the airports.
Well, if we do, we better check in on Frisco at the hospital before we go, huh?
Okay. You okay? Besides being worried sick about Terry, I'm fine. Yeah. Oh, you know, she couldn't be in better hands. You know, you need to make Terry believe that Dr. Montgomery and Seaview are the best things in the world for her right now. I intend to. And I want her to be happy here. Lord knows nothing else has worked. Yeah. What? Nothing. What's that in your hand? Oh, it's just one of those cheap perfumes from one of the hotels last one we stayed at. I just dumped it all over my stuff here. I was going to give it to Terry, but under the circumstances, I don't think she's in the mood for romance. Oh, I don't know. It might be good for her. We have spent so much time talking about how horrible all this is for Terry. But what about you? You know, you better watch out for your own sanity. There's nothing wrong with me that Terry's recovery wouldn't fix. Well, let's just hope that it's all in her mind. Meaning what? Well, how could you handle knowing your wife's a killer? Patrick, Terry is innocent. Now I'm convinced of that. That alone will keep me going. Look, I'm gonna go down and talk to Dr. Montgomery. Fill him in on Terry's case. You coming along? No, I'll just be a few minutes. I want to wash this stuff off my hands. All right, I'll see you down there. Okay.
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
And who is this?
This is my fiancée, Felicia Cummings. This is my Dr. Farrell. How you do?
Dr. Farrell, is Frisco going to be all right?
Well, that all depends on how well he takes care of himself.
Well, he'll do whatever you say, won't you?
I understand you're chomping at the bit to leave us. Listen, Doc, I feel great, okay? I see no reason to stay here any longer.
A concussion is a good reason to stay around for observation.
For how long?
A few days.
I don't have a few days. I got to get out of here now, Doc.
Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to. If I release you now, you'll be back here in no time.
I'll tell you what, I'll take my chances, okay?
Frisco, just listen to the doctor.
I have got to get out of here to help Anna and Jake. That's the whole reason I came here in the first place.
Dr. Farrell?
Farrell, this is Montgomery at Seaview.
Oh, yes, hello, Doctor.
I just wanted to thank you for referring Mrs. O'Connor to me.
Oh, yeah, that poor lady. I'm glad to see she made it over to Seaview.
Yes, she arrived a short while ago and is resting comfortably in her room.
Yes, I hope you'll be able to help her, Doctor. As you know, Mrs. O'Connor tried to commit suicide in a local hotel. Mrs. O'Connor? You'll keep me informed, and I'm really interested in that case.
Yes, I'll do that.
Bye-bye.
Doc, you mentioned a Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. So?
What was her first name?
Excuse me, Montgomery's still busy?
I'm afraid so. He still has several more calls to make.
Oh, you haven't met with Montgomery yet? No, I'm still on the telephone. Listen, Kevin, I've made a decision that I'm going to ask Dr. Montgomery to place a call. I want to call Port Charles. Why? I mean, don't you think we should wait for something a little more definite about Terry before we call there? Well, I'm sure Bobby would like to know what's happening. I'm sure it would upset her very much. I'm sure it's going to upset her very much, too, but she'd feel worse if she found out we kept it from her. You want to talk to her, too? No, I'm not up to filling anybody in about anything. Go ahead. Do it. Just tell her everything's going to be okay, though. All right? Don't worry her. I will. I'm sure she'll be relieved that you're with Terry every minute. Frisco and Felicia are probably worried sick, too. I imagine everyone is. You know, I hope she's got some good news about Buzz.
Excuse me. Dr. Montgomery will see you shortly.
Oh, thank you. Well, I guess we should get some idea how he plans to handle Terry's problem.
Yeah. I'm going to take a walk.
Now? Kevin, he's ready to see us.
Yeah, but I'd like to get some fresh air.
Kevin.
Can't you understand? I need some fresh air. Now, you wanted to make a phone call to Port Charles anyway. I'll be back before you're through.
Attempted to commit suicide and didn't succeed. I guarantee you her husband is gonna finish the job.
I know, it's incredible. I knew the woman was disturbed, but I had no idea that her husband was psychotic.
He and Patrick must have taken her to Seaview Sanitarium.
Yeah, Dr. Montgomery said they're on the premises.
And Terry's all right?
He said she's resting comfortably.
Yeah, but for how much longer? No. You've got to get a hold of Dr. Montgomery. Please, Dr. Farrell.
Terry's in big trouble.
I don't know why Kevin brought her to the sanitarium, but it must fit in with his plan somehow. He's gonna kill her, Doc. Dr. Montgomery may be the only chance. Please.
Yes, will you get me Dr. Montgomery at the Seaview Sanitarium, please? It's an emergency. Montgomery is not gonna believe this. What? You can't get through? Would you keep trying, please? Phone line's down. This can't get through. Give me that.
Hello. Hello. Yes, operator, this is an emergency. I need to reach Seaview Sanitarium immediately. Every second counts. This is a police emergency. Now, will you please try to get through as soon as you can, please? Thank you. What do you mean, out of order? There's nothing you can do? Oh, this is great. So there's a killer running loose in a sanitarium, and the phone lines just happen to be out of order, right?
I'm sure it's a coincidence.
Well, I'm not sure at all.
That island's isolated.
Please, Doc, there's one thing you can do for me. If you could get a hold of the chief of police here on Catalina Island. Now, we've got to get a hold of Jake and Anna as soon as possible. They might be able to get a flight to the sanitarium before the lines are back in operation. Please.
Oh, if only we could get a hold of Patrick. He doesn't even know his brother's a killer.
Oh, he's going to be right with us. He wanted to get some fresh air.
I think you wanted to use the phone while we wait?
Oh, yes, if you don't mind. I think it's important that I let Terry's friends know what's happening.
Of course, I don't see any harm in that.
Your lines are dead.
Again?
This thing happens often?
Unfortunately, it's the price we pay for our isolation. It's wonderful living in a remote area, but you can't understand how difficult it is to make a simple phone call.
Yeah, well, how long is it going to take before we can get an outside line?
Well, it'll probably take a couple of days to get a repairman from the mainland to come over and fix it.
Well, it's a good thing we don't have an emergency, do we?
Yeah. Well, don't worry about Mrs. O'Connor. She won't be using the phone for a while. Now, what I want from you is a general medical impression of her problems.
Where do I begin? I was in San Francisco. I was attending a medical convention, and Kevin had called me. He wanted me to join him and Terry and Catalina. He was frantic because Terry was claiming that she was a murderer.
Well, did she refer to any specific victim?
Well, she didn't mention any names, but I'm pretty sure I know what she's talking about. So we've had this string of killings that have surrounded all three of us, and Terry's been severely traumatized by the incidents.
Come in, please.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
you make your call?
No, I didn't get through. The lines are down.
Really? Wonder what happened.
I was just telling your brother it's an all too frequent occurrence around here. But there's nothing to worry about. Please, sit down.
Okay, thank you.
Now, where were we?
I was just filling him in on Terry's behavior. Doctor, one thing I am positive about. If it wasn't for Kevin, Terry would be in a much worse shape than she's in right now. And it's been Kevin's love and support that's gotten Terry through these past days.
Terry's my wife. I'll do anything I can to help her.
I want to talk to both of you about this recent suicide attempt. Now, in your opinion, do you actually think that she tried to drown herself in that hotel pool, or did she know that she was going to be saved?
Well, I can't believe it was an act.
No, neither can I.
I was terrified. Her behavior was so bizarre.
You know, I've never seen anybody's attitude change so quickly in such a short period of time. It was like she was two different people.
I've studied cases of schizophrenia before. Never came in touch with one personally.
We realized right then and there that if we were going to save Terry's lives, we had to get her here immediately.
It's up to you, Doctor.